to episode number 46 of the Iron Coop Superhero Movie Review Podcast. I'm Kia, your host. With me on the show today is Emerson
Hey, what's up?
and Everett.
Hey, what's going on?
You can reach us at theironcube at gmail.com and on Instagram at theironcube. If you enjoy the show, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, review our podcast on iTunes so that we can spread the show around. This week, the team reviews Captain America the Winter Soldier and the new Venom trailer and more movie, television, and video game news. Um, so here we gather on the eve episode for Infinity War, and we've got the first movie the Russo brothers ever made for the MCU, Captain America the Winter Soldier. And we delayed the podcast just enough to catch the rumored Venom trailer set to drop on Monday, and so it's here. Um, let's start with that. Everett, what'd you think?
I liked it. I think because everyone got super pissed in the first trailer how they didn't show any Venom, and then they show the full character design in this trailer, and it's so amazingly accurate and terrifying, and I love it.
Well, we didn't see if he has the spider on his chest, right? We didn't see that, did we?
Not
No.
yet, no, but the face is what I'm like focusing on at the moment.
Okay, let's break it down a little bit. Here's the movie snob in me. I'm actually more interested in another character, Michelle Williams' character. Why? Because she is a fantastic actress, and I have to wonder what they're doing with her to make her sign on. Like she's been in a lot of good movies, and she's kind of known for like taking them really seriously. So she signed on to Venom. Doesn't that intrigue you guys a little bit?
So you think she might have some sort of bigger role?
Yeah, I just that's Tom Hardy's a big win, but she like in terms of acting, she's bigger than Tom Hardy. In terms of like star power, Tom Hardy's bigger, but um, do you guys buy him as a reporter?
Not really.
Not really.
Yeah, he didn't. I don't know. Like
The
he's like a
original
reporter,
trailer made him seem like he was like kind of like a bum
a low
or
life.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah, I preferred that.
I
yeah.
mean, he made it out to be more like he was a private investigator, like he follows people that doesn't want to be followed.
Well, I mean, he's interviewing the people with like a
Right.
notepad and pen. But yeah, I like what Emerson said. Like he was sort of like a low life, down in his dumps, down in the dumps, and I don't know. Like he talks like he's uneducated, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah. That's his American accent.
So like I don't. I mean, I don't buy him as a reporter. He doesn't seem to have a great command of the English language.
His first lines were, "Your boss is evil."
Your boss is evil. Like he talks like Mike Tyson.
It's better than Topher Grace though.
I mean, just because Topher Grace is such a wimp, but in a way, is it better though? Like just based on this trailer,
I
he has
mean,
the physicality, sure, but Topher Grace had that like resentment factor that made sense for the character.
Okay, I will admit the action looks interesting. I'm not going to say great, because some of it looks a little gimmicky and kind of stupid, where like, oh, his arms grab the motorcycle. But,
Yeah,
but, the problem is, Kia, you said that there was a leaked version of this script where it said that, like, he only becomes Venom for, like, the final fight. And this trailer makes it look like that it was accurate.
yeah, it does, right? Because he keeps like having Venom arms and not actual Venom.
Yep, and that's what the leak said.
Yeah,
So,
I kind of believe it.
and according to the leak, there was no Carnage, right?
No, there was Carnage. It's just we didn't see Venom at the end. Like it didn't go. The movie didn't go full symbiote till the end. Um,
that's gonna be
I
disappointing.
mean, who knows? This a lot of this could just be like the first and middle second of the second
I
act.
hope so. I really hope so.
I don't see anything here that looks like third act stuff.
Yeah.
I see a lot of first and second act. Um,
Have Do we know what it's going to be rated?
No, not yet.
Because I saw someone say that in an interview, Tom Hardy said that it was a movie he wants to be able to see with his son, which implies not R.
Well, then Carnage is gonna have his
I
balls
mean, I
cut
expected
off.
PG-13.
R would be better.
What do
It
you guys
would
think
be
about
better.
how he talks to himself?
I'm okay
it's
with that.
interesting.
You know, I'll be honest. Venom is really cool in some ways, and this has sort of brought to light that he's also really stupid in a lot of ways.
What do you mean?
Well, the whole, like, he's like, we can do whatever we want. Like, excuse me, Mr. Alien Parasite, what do you want to do? Rob a bank? Like, what do you want to do? What do you, like, what's in your head? Um, I don't like the way that they're talking. I'm surprised how comic book they went with it.
Yeah.
I thought that he would have more control over the symbiote instead of him just sort of like being along for the ride. Maybe that's the beginning, and then he gets more control. Um, but like, why does Venom have teeth
I don't know. You know what would be cool though? It would be cool if Tom Hardy is like,
and a tongue?
let's say, he's fighting Venom, whatever. But then like it could be interesting if throughout the movie he starts to refer to himself as we, like he's being taken over by the symbiote completely, and that's just how it happens.
You know what
Well,
I'm really,
I think you'll get something like that.
just be glad it's not Tom Hardy's American accent coming out of that big hulking black form.
That's definitely the voice of a black guy, right?
I mean, it sounds deep enough,
It's
yeah, but just
highly
imagine Tom
likely.
Hardy's voice coming out of the full symbiote.
Um, it sounds like a black guy's voice to me, but the design is not 100% for me.
It looks a little off.
It's just he looks weird. I guess I
I
don't
think
like the symbiote as much as I thought I did. Like, where does that giant tongue come from? Why does he even have that? I
'cause
know
it's
it's
in the
comic
comics.
accurate, but
That's all I can think of.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to like see the movie in its entirety to make a real judgment. At this point, I'm like, why do I care? Like when he's sticking the tongue out, it looks cool. But then I'm like, what about? I feel like the actors are sort of thrown aside at that point, and the movie it's like too much in a way.
Well, once Venom reveals himself, I don't want to see Tom Hardy again. I want to see Venom.
Yeah, and maybe that's what those people were trying to like blow the whistle on them, but maybe they realize that. And they're like, we can't show Venom in his entirety because after that, like, we can't do anything else with the character. He's basically gonna have to fight and either die or kill Carnage. You can't have him be Venom and just survive. I don't know. It's at that point,
Yeah.
it's like, what are you gonna do with Venom once the threat is gone? Like, he has to go away. He has to hide or something. So he can't be like your friendly neighborhood Venom, stopping crime or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, also I don't really know what his driving force is besides kill Spider-Man and get revenge on people.
It's going on a fun spree, like doing what they want, skipping school and going to the movies all day. I don't know. What does Venom want to do?
I don't know.
Play miniature golf. Like what? I don't know. What does a symbiote want
I don't know.
from
You're right.
New
He
York or
can't.
San
He
Francisco?
can't be robbing banks. He needs to want to like kill people or like
Yeah.
spread.
Oh my God. What if there's gonna be a female Venom and it's Michelle Williams, and they're like their goal is to reproduce?
Oh my
It
god.
doesn't seem completely out of the question.
You're
Like
right.
that seems
But
like
are-
something that could happen, and you're just like, what? In
Because
the
they make
theater?
it very clear there's more than one symbiote.
Yeah, but that's not how it works.
When a mommy symbiote and a daddy symbiote love each other.
Yeah,
very
no,
I
that's
wonder.
not how it works.
Yeah, I wonder, is there more than one symbiote, or are those people just were they all affected or tested upon?
Maybe they were tested upon,
And like
but
Tom Hardy's the only one who was strong enough to survive.
Well, yeah, some of the symbiote, because the symbiote can choose to reject a host, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
I suppose.
There is a way the symbiotes reproduce in the comics, though, and it's not like sexual at all. It's actually kind of gross.
Sounds sexual to me. Um, Again, the biggest question mark in this trailer for me is Michelle Williams. I think there's more to her than just like the girlfriend. And we didn't see
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson at all.
Is he confirmed to be in this?
He's confirmed to be in it, and who else? We don't know who he's playing officially, but it seems like it's going to be Carnage.
If they just like show him for like 5 minutes and that's the setup for the second movie, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
I mean, Sony's definitely trying to milk their
I know.
rights.
Which concerns me.
I mean,
The
if they
trailer
have,
had really weird pacing.
if they have Carnage in this movie, he better straight up murder someone on screen. Otherwise, it won't be worth it.
I'll be right back.
Because
Um,
the way Carnage works is that he is not. He's like Venom, because Venom's like, nuts, but he's a symbiote with the mind of a serial killer, so it's even more terrifying. That's a reason why Kia says he was the most terrifying character when he was a kid.
no, I agree, but I don't have a lot of faith in Sony and what they're gonna do.
So yeah, that brings me to my next question. I forgot what we bet. Did you guys say Tom Holland is in this movie?
I said he isn't.
I bet that he is.
I think you said that he wasn't. I think I said that he was, just to take the other side, didn't I?
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I guess
Didn't I say that? Isn't that what? Yeah.
You definitely took the other side. All right, if I had that the other side, then fine.
Yeah. Do you guys see this in the MCU?
No.
My question is, do I buy the action figure? Because
If it
if
looks good.
it's a live action Venom, if I don't buy it, he may never come to the MCU.
Yeah.
Or is this the one?
I don't know. We have to get closer. See another trailer.
You know, if he isn't in the MCU, I don't think he is, partly because they're using Carnage. And I feel like if they had consulted Marvel, Marvel would not have wanted to use Carnage that early.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is still one big question mark, this whole thing. Let us move on, shall we?
Yep.
Mhm.
Phase 4. Oh, sorry. Phase 5. No. Phase 4. Phase 4. Okay. We are in Phase 3 still, right? Infinity War, and then Avengers 4 ends Phase 3. And then Phase 4 begins. So, Kevin Feige, we won't do anything until after this time next year, which is when Avengers 4 comes out. After that, I think we'll announce where we're going, but we did a very big announcement in 2014 where we announced a lot of movies, and we added a few movies to it after that announcement. But it really felt important that we deliver on that before we do a big showcase of whatever is to come. So, basically he's saying, like, they announced Captain Marvel and blah blah blah, and then Spider-Man came and they had to change all that. They're not going to say what's coming after until this is done.
Yeah.
So Avengers 4. He says, that's one of the main reasons we're not going to Hall H this year, he's referring to Comic-Con, is because Ant-Man and the Wasp will have just been released. Infinity War will be out. Captain Marvel will have just finished filming. Spider-Man will have just started filming, and we're not going to be making any other announcements. So we're going to wait until Comic-Con next year. So we're about a year and a half away from any new movie announcement. So
I mean, that's a good sign. I
yeah,
think that means they want to focus on getting this done and getting it done right.
yeah.
Yeah, take more time, make it more professional.
Um, okay, Eternals. You guys know about Eternals?
No idea.
No,
Everett, you do know anything about them?
not necessarily.
Okay, so comicbook.com. Kevin Feige again. Wait, it is Kevin Feige, right? Yeah, okay. Eternals is one of many, many, many things that we are actively beginning to have creative discussions about to see if we believe in them enough to put them on a slate. We have started working on what are the films post Phase 3. So, Eternals were created by Jack Kirby, and their ties to the Celestials mean Marvel has the opportunity to delve deep into the Marvel Cinematic Universe's cosmic history. So, this is all cosmic stuff. The site adds multiple screenwriters have met with the studio about the project, and the current plan is reportedly for the female Eternal known as Cersei to be the lead. The hero can manipulate cosmic energy to grant herself virtual immortality and vulnerability, and reshape the molecules of other people or objects. So it sounds like this is going to happen.
It sounds like she's overpowered as shit.
That's the problem with the cosmic side. And why I could see myself becoming less interested in the MCU as things start to go in that direction.
Yeah.
Right now what's keeping me most invested is Captain America. Like his movies and his arc and all that. Black Panther, Wakanda, those type of grounded things. Um,
And the
that
problem is when you add these crazy abilities, you need to upgrade everyone else or everyone else is useless.
yeah, everyone else is like Batman and Justice League.
Well,
Yeah.
already Black Widow and Hawkeye are being like questionable, like what they're going to do.
I
Yeah,
mean, you saw how useful Black Widow looked in any of those teasers.
Not particularly.
I mean, she kicked one of the Black Order's ass.
she was beating the shit out of I want to say Corvus Glaive.
Or yeah, I guess
'Cause
might have been
Proxima-
Proxima, right?
It was they were together. I saw a clip. I don't know what it was on Instagram, and Black Widow like takes a leaping kick at Corvus Glaive, and then uh, Proxima Midnight attacks, and Captain America grabs the spear from her, and like they knock her over, and she like Proxima Midnight lands next to Corvus Glaive because they're married or something, right? So like yeah, I don't. It seems like there's gonna be some bullshit with Black Widow and her abilities. Um, anyway, um, moving on. X-Men and the Fantastic Four. Kevin Feige again. Talking about X-Men and Fantastic Four in the MCU. No, because any of that deal would take a while to get going and years from whenever, and if ever it happens. So certainly it won't impact the 5 movies we've announced. And it probably wouldn't impact anything for a handful of years after that. Because really, we're not thinking about that. We're thinking of delivering on what we promised. Any movie, especially for any characters we don't have the rights to yet, until someone tells us we do, would be even further after that. I like believe half of what he says and not the other half. They have plans for X-Men and Fantastic Four for sure. I believe that I'm kind of surprised at how worried he seems to be about the current movies that they've announced.
Yeah.
Like he's all about just getting Captain Marvel out there. I mean, to me at this point in this Marvel machine, a movie like Captain Marvel, like that's just getting made. It's not even the question of whether or not it'll be good and will it do big numbers and will it be significant to the MCU overall. Like all that is kind of a given. It's refreshing to hear him talk about it like each one is very important, and he's
Yeah.
still worried that they could be shaky. Having said that, yeah, none of those are gonna change. But Phase 4, like I think Phase 4 is up for grabs. They haven't started
Yeah.
filming on anything.
Mm.
Um,
And it'd be easy for them to like, especially if they're going the cosmic route, can rearrange molecules in people. Oh God, there's mutants now.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
Yeah. What else? Okay. MCU and the horror genre. So, Kevin Feige, he's talking about Blade and Man Thing. I like both of those characters that you named, and I think, again, horror can mean a lot of things. Horror, did you mean a movie like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or Hostel, or Friday the 13th, or Poltergeist? Poltergeist is a little bit more my wheelhouse. That's such a great movie, and it scared the heck out of me, but it's really fun. I don't know, I would certainly like to play with as many genres as possible. Um, he talks more about like the different genres they've had. I think it always and I hope will continue to vary. I enjoy very much the success of Thor Ragnarok and all of the articles that were being written around the release of that film, that the MCU has now just gone full comedy. MCU has just embraced the full silliness and is just embracing a very eclectic, strange sense of humor. I remember reading those things and thinking, yes, but wait till you see Black Panther. And now Black Panther and the advertisements for Infinity War, everything's going to be dark now. Everything's going to be, I will say it, I will say it always will vary depending on the story we want to tell on any individual movie. So he didn't really say
Yeah.
like he wants to do horror, but I think Blade is a given. Like that's going to happen at some point. It probably should be a Netflix show, but they're not making any new Netflix shows. Did you know that?
Why? The ones they have, no offense, are not doing well.
Well, the ones they have will continue so far, but they're not going to add like Moon Knight or Blade because Disney is going to start its own streaming service,
Oh.
and so they should appear there. That's what I heard, but we don't know.
God, I'd much rather prefer Moon Knight over Blade, because if you make Blade, then you have to introduce the whole vampire lore into the MCU, and that's just going to
Yeah.
be way too confusing.
Well, I also just want them to be on Netflix so that they can interact with the other ones.
Yeah.
Whatever. The Black Widow solo movie. The film will find Natasha living in the United States 15 years after the fall of the Soviet Union. That timeline places the film firmly in the mid 2000s, meaning we'll meet up with Nat prior to the events of Iron Man 2. That time frame opens up plenty of options, and while many fans want to see a Black Widow/Hawkeye team up in Budapest, we've been told that early discussions about the film involved Sebastian Stan's Winter Soldier.
That could be good.
I don't know.
Okay,
What?
if she dies, if they kill her, and then they go back and talk about her like beginning and how she like became good, and you get some of the Winter Soldier in there, could be good.
I mean-
Yes. She does say like many times, like in Civil War, she's like, "At least you could remember me," but I thought she was referring to Winter Soldier, that movie.
Mhm.
And then in Winter Soldier, she makes references to when he shot her in Tehran, right?
Yeah.
Um, but that like, okay, if he makes one appearance, is she going to be fighting him in Winter Soldier? Because she really didn't know him,
No.
so.
He could just be a force of nature that she doesn't understand. And
Yeah.
maybe
I
like
mean-
she doesn't even realize what it really is. You just see the metal arm.
They can bring in Yelena Belova. That'd be interesting.
Who's that?
That's the second Black Widow in the comics. There are two. The blonde one.
She's blonde now.
They need to get that woman from the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The one
she
who gets
should.
run over with the car.
I don't know why you keep bringing up that scene. You can't even see her face when that happens. I still technically don't even know who you're talking about.
Am I right though?
It's the main woman. The one that is all over the trailer. And in the previous
They're
film.
walking in like a vineyard and looking at each other.
Yeah.
Okay, she does get run over with the car.
Yeah, but she's like she's got a helmet on. That's not a good example of like how to recognize her. All right. Spider-Man: Homecoming 2 villains, which It's not a Spider. It's not going to be called Spider-Man: Homecoming 2, but whatever.
The police are coming.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. We've chosen a villain, and I think the storyline is fairly impacted by the locations we go to. We love the notion of taking Spider-Man to places around the world that we haven't seen him in before, and we have a villain who I think will play into that nicely. So he's going overseas, obviously on like some sort of trip, school trip, I assume, or maybe he's taking a gap year or something like that.
Hmm.
Um,
I can see him in Africa with Craven. That'd be interesting.
Craven was the one I was thinking. Um, but Craven is not African, is he?
Well,
He
no,
hunts-
but
isn't
he's
he
a
South
hunter.
African? Is he South African? Like
I
an
don't
Afrikaner?
think so. I don't think so.
I don't know. I'll look it up.
But like Africa, it could be.
He hunts
Yeah, his
there.
name is Sergei Kravinov.
Wow, never mind then.
Yeah. His half brother is Dmitry Smerdyakov, better known as the Chameleon. But in Africa it could be the Rhino. I don't know, but so they're going non-traditional again. It's not going to be Doctor Octopus or something like that. I'm echoing on one of you guys. I'm not sure.
I'll mess with the sound. I don't think it's me.
Just turn it down a tiny bit. Okay. Moving on, Namor the Submariner. This is about where the rights are for him. He's obviously a big adversary to Black Panther. Let's see. Who's this quote from? Was it? Does this not say who the quote is? What the hell? Who's the quote? Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna read it. With the Disney Fox deal, if that pans out, with the Sony rights sharing deal with Spidey, the one big loose end then is Namor and Universal. Can you tell us what the status of that is? Is there any chance for him to just pop up in an MCU film? It sounds like an incredibly complicated situation for one character. I don't know who says this, but it is. I think it's probably Kevin Feige, but it is. I think there's a way to probably figure it out, but it does have. It's not as clean or as clear as the majority of the other characters. So the thing about this, yeah, it is Feige. Okay. The thing about this is a lot of people actually think that Marvel somehow already owns Namor, like through like
Okay.
some proxy, something like that. But it's not true. So apparently he's complicated. They can't just use him. So Universal is somehow involved. Anyway, Miles Morales. So Tom Holland almost spoiled something. He says, I'm sure down the line it has to happen. I'd love to work with Miles. I think it would be great. We've definitely put the building blocks in. There's been a few teases in the first film. So Miles Morales is the black kid who becomes Spider-Man after Peter Parker dies in the Ultimate Universe. His uncle, Miles Morales' uncle, the Prowler, was played by Donald Glover, and he in Spider-Man: Homecoming, and he makes a reference to his nephew, who is Miles. So we know Miles exists. Tom Holland continues, he says, they work as a team. Well, actually, in the version that, well, I don't want to talk about this because I might, and then it seems like Benedict Cumberbatch, who was sitting next to him, like, shut him up. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Tom Holland has a major problem with spoilers.
Yeah, so, sounds like Miles is coming.
Good for Benedict
I don't really want to
Cumberbatch
see a
playing the
MCU
adult.
with two Spider-Men, though. Anyway. Deadpool and the MCU. Kevin Feige again.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, look, I can get excited about a lot of things. In this case in particular, there's no deal until they say there's a deal. So I'm not thinking about any of it. Honestly, any more than I ever have, which is to say, of course, I would always think about it because I can't help it. But not specifically, and between our premiere of Avengers Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp finishing its cut, Captain Marvel filming, Spider-Man about to start filming, and us about to seriously get in the cutting room floor on Avengers 4, there's a lot to do. So basically, he didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
But he did say, like, I think about it, which is what we thought before. He's thinking about X-Men and Fantastic Four for Phase 4 for sure. That's coming
Yeah.
out. He also says about Deadpool, I thought it was very funny. I think that's one of the great things about Deadpool, both in the comics and what Ryan has done with him in the movies, is you can break the fourth wall. They mentioned DC in the new trailer. They can get away with that, and it's great. That was the only way to have done it from the comics in the movies, and it's great they did, versus earlier incarnations of Deadpool in earlier X-Men movies. So again, he doesn't answer the question. Um, I don't. They've said like it wasn't Kevin Feige, but I think like someone at Disney said Deadpool movies will stay the way they are, and that's still unclear if it means they're going to be in the MCU. But it seems like Ryan Reynolds is still going to have a job.
Yeah.
Um, moving on, so the Disney Fox deal that they're all talking about is set to close by summer 2019. So right around when Avengers 4 comes out, we're going to be able to announce those movies. Just the question for me is, are they allowed to creatively work on these films like behind closed doors? You know,
I don't know.
can you legally pay a writer to work on a Fantastic Four script even if the deal's not finalized, or do you have to wait till it's all done?
I have no idea.
Because if they wait till it's all done, then you're looking at, like, it's possible it may be a couple more years.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
not
I
sure.
think they could like theoretically create a script, but
Isn't there like there's like a required wait time though, right? Not only did they just close the deal, but didn't they just make a Fantastic Four movie?
You have 7 years to retain the rights, but that's not really an issue here because they're buying Fox. So,
Right.
um, moving on, Harley Quinn is getting her own movie.
Not needed at all.
So there was a Harley Quinn and Joker film. There was some stupid film where it's like all women because apparently we need that now. Um, like I'm all for a female superhero movie, but don't just take a bunch of female characters that already exist and put them in the same movie
and
and be
they're
like,
flip flopping.
yeah. Okay,
Just
Margot
trying to
Robbie,
appeal
Harley
to the-
Quinn. That's sellable, right? People will go see that. But who are the others that they were trying to shoehorn
Poison
into it?
Ivy,
Yeah, Poison Ivy and like, dude,
Catwoman?
that's not a movie. That's barely even a comic issue. Yeah, Catwoman. Um, I'm sure one of Ra's al Ghul's daughters will show up at some point. Um, so anyway, the director Kathy Yan is going to be the director of the untitled Girl Gang movie. However, right now it's just like Harley Quinn. Like that's all we really know. Um, did you guys know that Ava DuVernay, she just made A Wrinkle in Time, is going to be making a New Gods movie for DC?
Oh,
A
Jesus.
Wrinkle in Time looked horrible.
It did look. You know, a lot of people thought it looked good. It looked terrible to me too.
I mean,
Horrible.
a New Gods movie would
CGI
actually be
fest.
really good if they did it right.
What are the New Gods? I don't know that.
Okay, so the New Gods are. So the gods on Earth, like Zeus, Poseidon, and everyone with Wonder Woman, those are the old gods. The new gods are. Hell, I can't even remember their names, but
Aren't they like the counterparts to Apocalypse?
yeah, they're the
Darkseid?
counterparts to Apocalypse. I have to look up the leader's name. Hold on, because there's a big thing with them.
They're in the
comics.
animated series, the Justice League animated.
Yeah, they're in the
series.
animated series. Darkseid and the leader of the New Gods switched children as a truce for the war they were having.
So basically, the Frost Giants and the Asgardians.
Basically. And then they have a whole bunch of stuff with the Source Wall and a bunch of other stuff.
They're like a hyper advanced civilization. Their technology makes them seem like gods.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Do you guys care?
Yeah, that would be actually really
Because
cool.
I saw them in Justice League, I'm more in the animated series. I'm more inclined to be interested, but I need to see how it's done. I need to see a trailer.
I want to. Where's the name? I can't find the
Yeah.
name.
I don't know. DC, if they can make a good movie, sure, but I just don't care about the universe anymore.
Yeah.
What else?
Highfather, that's his name.
Okay, Steven Spielberg is also making a DC movie,
What?
Blackhawks. You guys didn't hear about this?
My
No.
mom mentioned this to me like for a brief second.
Okay, so Blackhawks are a World War II squadron, and they fight Nazis, and
Oh, I know this. Yes.
they fight beasts occasionally too, like mystical, crazy stuff like that, monsters and
Yes, I know this.
um. So yeah, they've been updated through comic book history as far as I know. I haven't really read a Blackhawk comic, but um, Steven Spielberg is doing it. It's World War II, so I'm in. All that sounds
Yeah.
good. I just wonder, doesn't it seem like he's making some weird movie choices? Like, he could do better, right? He made The Post, which is kind of what I expect for him to make at this point in his career, but instead he's going for like more crowd pleasing properties. Ready Player One, and now a DC property.
Maybe he just wants to try his hand. I mean, if he's the guy who gives DC a win,
I mean, they have a win with Wonder Woman, but maybe the source material just kind of spoke to him, because World War II, I believe it, and I know he wanted to make like some sort of World War II airline thing, right? Some fighter pilot for HBO. Maybe he's just gonna turn it into this.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? So Deadpool 2 got a final trailer. Did you guys see that?
A lot of
Yes.
stuff in there that are from the comics, which is cool.
What did you guys think?
it looked okay. I didn't see as like anything that really stood out to me. There was some funny moments with Cable and Deadpool, and
They make a
the
bunch of
guy with no
in-jokes.
powers.
They made the DC joke.
And
People
Thanos as
people
well.
eat that shit up. They're like, "Oh, they said that about DC." It's like, okay, cool, I guess. You know what? I don't know. A lot of people are really excited for this movie.
I prefer the subtlety. When they made the mustache joke, I could get that. When they're like, "Oh, it's not a mustache. CGI is quick." Okay, but like, okay, we get it. DC sucks. I'm not gonna clap like a seal.
Yeah, I mean, I like the joke where he tells Domino that her power is not a real power.
Mhm.
Being
We
lucky.
talk about that all the time.
Yeah, except he means it as like, you can't be lucky. We mean it as like, there's no genetic mutation that makes you lucky.
Yeah.
But still, like, I like the joke. It works on both levels. You know what joke I did like though was the normal guy, Paul or Peter, whatever his name was.
They're doing a marketing campaign with him. He has his own Twitter account.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about, Emerson? The guy at the
No.
end, the guy that just signs up the normal guy
The one who like falls really weirdly.
at the end. Yeah, at the end of the trailer.
That was
There's
funny.
actually a theory
was
about
funny.
him that he might be a mole on the X Force. Because
I mean,
there's
I don't
well,
care
there's a-
enough
there's
about the
a-
X Force to worry about that, but yeah.
yeah, no, there's a person in the comics whose name sort of matches up with him. That like
By the way,
is a secret mutant.
A lot of I'm sure he's a secret. I actually do think he is. A lot of the CGI in this is garbage. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great.
Like, there's that one scene where Cable is flying through the air and like reaching out. It looks like PS2 graphics.
Maybe they shouldn't be making so much fun of DC.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and there's a lot of practical effects. I like cars, driving through stuff, but yeah, like Cable jumping out, it just did not look right. I don't know. And I don't really care for all the X-Force stuff either.
Still don't know who Bill Sarsgaard's playing. That's cool.
And Terry Crews, and Magic is in it, right? That girl with the thing, the like whip,
I don't know.
whatever. Who
Is
cares?
she
Um,
Negasonic Teenage Warhead's girlfriend?
yeah, I think so. think that's magic. Um, yeah, we'll see it. There's two. I have two problems. Like I'm trying really hard not to even think about Infinity War,
Yeah,
because then it's like, dude, there's still 4 days left. But
I know.
so I try not to think about it. But I really am not thinking about the Solo movie or Deadpool 2
Neither
either.
am I.
Yeah, the hype just isn't there for me anyway.
Well, they're not made for us.
Yeah, I do need to buy my tickets for Deadpool 2 though, because they're on sale now. Anyway, video game news: God of War came out for
Have you played it?
PS4. Oh yeah, it's good. Like, it's amazing. I'm not a huge fan of the combat just yet because he used to have like double blades and now he has an axe. And the axe is cool, but I think from what I remember, the blades felt better. Like they by the
Maybe.
third game, they had really like nailed it, and now it's a new thing.
Well,
So
maybe they'll give him double axes because the axe is the Norse thing.
yeah, and like he can call it back to his hand, but you have to like manually do it, which is kind of cool. Um, it's fun. It's gorgeous, a gorgeous game. Kratos is weird. I mean he's just like the way he talks to his son. I don't know. I haven't got that far into it. I did have like the first big boss battle, and it
Mm.
was epic. I think it was Thor.
Really?
Basically, what happens is a god called the Stranger comes to his door to see like what the deal is, and then it turns into a fight. And the guy has like electric powers, lightning powers. So I think it's Thor, but it doesn't look like a traditional Thor, and they never call him Thor, and so I don't know. I think it was Thor though. Um, and you know who plays that guy who might be Thor?
Who?
Jeremy Davies.
Why is? Wait, really?
Yeah, the guy Upham from Saving Private Ryan.
Jesus.
Yeah, his
I
face, like his face is in the game.
I haven't seen him in so long.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
noticed they've done that a lot more recently.
it's
Like
cool.
yeah, it is cool. Like, I can't get past one of them though. If you've ever played Halo 5, Spartan Locke looks exactly like the guy who plays Luke Cage.
Oh, was it him?
Yeah, well, in the live action movie, it was him. So they have to match that in the game. So
You're
it looks
right,
exactly
it
like
was him.
Luke Cage.
Oh my god.
I gotta look that up too. Spartan Locke.
Yeah, Spartan Locke.
I can't find a picture of the guy.
Of
Of
Jeremy
this-
Davies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. Mike Coulter. Huh. Type in maybe the Stranger God of War.
Let me see. The Stranger God of War.
I don't want to look it up too much. Yeah, you can see
I found
what his
one.
face.
I found one.
You see Jeremy Davies in there.
Holy shit, you're right.
Um, I don't want to look up too much about who the stranger's supposed to be in case it's like some sort of plot twist. So I'm just gonna leave it alone for now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna read any further, but it does say the identity is somewhat important, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
All right, Emerson, you said you had some movie reviews you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I saw 2 movies this weekend, horror movies, which was
Oh.
interesting. They're older though. Dark Skies and The Fourth Kind.
Okay.
So they're both alien abduction movies that don't really show you the alien, and
Nice.
they
No,
were
I've seen The Fourth
kinda,
Kind.
they were kinda stupid until about the midpoint when it gets real creepy. Like there are things
Both
in
of
the
them?
house with them. Both of them, yeah. Dark Skies specifically, they're in the house with them, and like you see things moving in the background, and like they fuck with your mind, and they it's I don't want to spoil it in case you or someone listening wants to watch it, but if you like horror and you like aliens, I highly recommend Dark Skies. And then The Fourth Kind, the fourth kind, you actually never see the aliens, but it just messes with you because the whole point of the fourth kind is that every night these people in Alaska are abducted, and then they wake up afraid, but they have no memory of it. So you don't remember you're abducted, and there's nothing. You just have this feeling of wrongness, and you see an owl. And after watching this movie, we heard an owl outside, and I was like, "Nah, I'm done." And I didn't want to deal with it. I was like,
didn't you see this before? There was
I
a
saw
movie.
it once a long, long time ago, but I like didn't like really pay attention. 'Cause I
And
was, like,
doesn't the
terrified.
owl look like scary and
Yeah,
unusual?
something's wrong with the owl.
This is
It's
the
like-
fourth kind?
Yeah, the fourth kind.
Yeah, you
There's
told me
something
about this
terrifies
movie
me.
before.
Yeah, but I had never like I don't know, like I hadn't watched it in so long, and it seemed new to me, especially I don't know if I like turned it off the first time, but
I hate owls.
well, don't watch this movie because you'll hate them even more. But they were pretty fun. It was fun to watch them, even though they were terrifying.
Whatever. All right. 46 minutes in. Let's discuss Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
All right.
What do you guys rate it?
I'd give it an A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
A, definitely A.
A. So what is so good about this movie?
It's brilliantly directed. The music is great. The characters are, they have good
It doesn't
dialogue. They have good
to be
development.
a superhero movie or an MCU movie to be good. It could stand on its own and be amazing.
You're right. The music is great, fantastic. In that credit sequence at the end, like, is amazing. It's one of the best parts of the movie.
Mhm.
I was kind of disappointed that Civil Wars wasn't as good. What I like a lot about this movie is the visual palette. It's all like blues and grays, pretty much the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of grounds. I don't know. I feel like it grounds the characters in the film. Anyway, let's talk a little bit. What do you guys think about Steve Rogers showing off his running to a stranger?
I liked it
Um,
because it was really putting the idea in our heads he is superhuman. Because
It works,
It-
yes. Uh-huh.
it gets hard to remember that he's not just a really fit guy. He is post-human.
Yeah.
Because you see him with Hulk and Thor and Iron Man. You're just like, eh. So I was okay with it.
But he's like making Anthony Mackie feel bad about not
Maybe
being able to
he's a
keep up.
dick.
But
that, and it's also
he-
kind of an element to use towards the end. Like they use that, and then they bring it back at the very end when he's in the hospital.
I like how they're playful, right?
Mhm.
It works for the characters. But at the same time, it's like, hold up, Steve, you're on fucking steroids. like, let's not pretend that you worked hard to get to that level. You woke up and you could run faster than anyone on the planet. Like, that's, I don't know. I just feel like if the real Captain America would not be like, hey, man, you gonna keep up, bro? Like, no, he can't keep up because you're superhuman. I feel like he would be like, yeah, don't sweat it. I'm super, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't
Something
know
like
about
that instead.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Was I the only one while watching this movie getting flashbacks of the Coyote Crew movies?
Oh no, that happens every time now.
I mean, flashbacks for what?
Because the music,
Like the Winter
the
Chief.
music
Oh,
is
yeah,
now
yeah, yeah,
associated
yeah.
with
The music. You're right. I stole a lot of music for Coyote Crew 3 from this film. Okay, his strike suit. This is the best Captain
Really
America
good.
suit
really.
they've
good.
ever had, right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
What suit is he wearing in Infinity War?
It's his
wearing the Nomad
Civil War
costume.
suit, but it's not a Nomad costume. It's like it's a tattered Civil War suit. It's missing the star. You can see the chainmail through the rips in the chest piece. His sleeves are rolled up. That's basically it. I really think that the red, white, and blue on his chest that he traditionally has is or not his chest, his like torso is just terrible. Like it's too much. This suit where it's all blue, it's like blue and black with a little bit of white. Perfect.
And his shield is repainted to complement it.
Yeah. Like I have the Hot Toys figure, but this was like their second attempt at Captain America. And they hadn't quite figured it out yet. Like my Civil War looks fantastic, but if I could get that strike suit costume on the proportions, like that would be that's the version I would display. Um, this blue suit, like I have a jacket that matches it. I have that like workout shirt, like an Under Armour shirt that looks like it. This blue suit is just like the best version. Um,
Yeah,
Anyway.
that was the one. Like, what was one of the one problems I had with this movie is that at the very end he switches into his original suit from the first movie. That kind of.
well, because the other one's a shield outfit.
Well, yeah, but still, like, I really am not a fan of the original
Everett
Captain
wants him
America
to fight
outfit.
with the Nazis.
um, so this ship sequence where he takes down the carrier or whatever, the cargo ship, the
Mhm.
Lumerian Star. This is one of the best scenes in the MCU.
It's amazing.
Every once in a while he pulls some bullshit where he does like a twirly move that is somehow supposed to generate power. It's like, if you didn't twirl and you just threw the punch anyway, it would still work and probably work better. I don't know where they got this idea. He does it a lot. Like he does a twirl and it ends in like a kick or a shield throw, and it just doesn't work for me.
They just it looks good on screen. To a normal person, someone who doesn't like think about fighting or momentum, they're saying like, "Oh my God, look how much momentum he's building and how athletic he is."
Yeah. In Age of Ultron, when they have that like last stand scene, and they go in slow motion, his move is like a giant twirl, and he ends it with a kick. It's like, dude, that is the worst way to deliver a kick. What did you guys think about his fight with George St. Pierre?
It seemed like
It
they were
was
equally matched
okay.
at first, at least.
That's cool that George St. Pierre is in this movie,
Yeah, I mean,
and he did well, like
yeah,
acting
but I
wise
don't
and
think
fighting wise.
he should. I don't understand how he was able to match up with him. Was Captain America taking it easy?
I mean, to me it seemed like he only lost because Captain America is superpowered. Like, remember he tried to kick Captain America and Cap, like, kicked his shin and broke it?
Yeah.
Like, I think he would have beat Captain America otherwise. But my favorite parts are when Captain America does, not a drop kick, but like in like Muay Thai they call it a teep kick, where you basically take your front leg and you jam the heel straight forward to stop your opponent from charging. But in this case, he's so strong that when he does it, it's like that Sparta kick,
Oh,
and
it
just
throws him.
it just smashes people away. He does it two or three times. He just runs up and boom. I love that.
I think he kicks a guy off the boat with it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Or something?
Yeah. Um, moving on. Nick Fury talks about the last time I trusted someone, it cost me an eye.
Maybe we will see what that means in the Captain Marvel movie.
Yeah, well, he has two eyes in Captain Marvel. We know that. So, I'm looking. Like, I think that's what
Dude,
he's
if
talking
it's a
about.
Kree? What if it's a
Or a
Kree?
Skrull.
Do you think he's a Kree
Yeah, Skrull.
or a Skrull? Yeah. Do you think he's a Skrull because, I feel like the Skrull would not have a damaged eye.
Also, like, he did a DNA test. Shouldn't that, like, cause some problems? And the doctors operated on him.
I guess it depends on what the Skrulls can do. We'll find out. Did you notice that the guy who plays KG Beast in Justice League or Batman vs Superman is also a strike soldier here?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Which
Yeah.
one?
The guy with like the lazy eye, he looks Russian.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I know him.
One of my favorite scenes here also is the museum scene when he
When he's
goes to the
reminiscing.
World War II. Yeah, that's a cool scene. I like that. I wish I could have seen more of that.
He's living history.
Yeah, I want to see like how they remember him, and it would have been. I feel like the movie could have spent a little bit more time there, just for curiosity's sake. Um, the Peggy Carter scene. Did you guys know that the Peggy Carter scene was originally supposed to be in the Avengers movie?
No.
No.
So they put it in here. But here's my problem. It was great. That's obviously Haley Atwell wearing makeup. She looks good. Like, looks like a real old woman. Um, she does a great job doing that, like, child voice. Um, oh shit. I forgot to tell you guys about a play I went to. Remind me to do that at the end. Um,
You go to plays?
no. But I'll tell you about it. So, um, what I didn't like about this scene, though, was the fact that she had dementia. And they did that.
I thought it was Alzheimer's.
Yeah, Alzheimer's probably. What they do that tropey fucking thing where she like forgets what she's doing mid conversation. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? I was like, come on, that's been done so many times. Um, so I didn't like that. I was like, this movie's too good for that. You could have just. It would have been better if she just was alive to like remember Captain America coming back and to just like know of him and like be like, I support you and I want you to be happy, and then not go like brain dead at the end.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't need that. Um, I really like Captain America's disillusionment with Shield and like the world, the present world. The movie does a good job of showing where he doesn't really fit in anymore. This
Yeah.
is one of the reasons why I feel like his character narratively should die. Like, he should die. He doesn't belong. He serves his purpose and then he goes away. Like, this living in the future thing was never meant to last. It can't last with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has an arc. He's going to be there when America needs him most, the world needs him most, and then he's going to die. Like, that's how I would write it. Um, so Robert Redford, actually, I should mention, this is the first MCU movie that I actually liked. So, and I'm not saying I didn't like the others, but I didn't care that much. Iron Man came out around Dark Knight, so I was obviously way into the Dark Knight. I still maintain Dark Knight is a better film, even though they're different sort of to films. But like the way people got into Iron Man versus Dark Knight, I was like, how can you guys even choose Iron Man over Dark Knight? Whatever. But then you had Iron Man 2, which I was like, what is going on here? Then you had Thor, which was like a little bit of a sleeper. Then you had Captain America, which I liked because it was World War II, but the Red Skull was a huge letdown. You had Avengers, which I didn't even see in theaters. I was just like, it's just going to be them like saving the day, whatever. That actually is a genuinely good movie. Iron Man 3 with the Mandarin twist, that was weird. Thor: The Dark World, I don't even think I went to go see. Um, and then this movie, and like I wasn't dragged to this movie, but it was with Ryan, who was here on the Last Jedi podcast. He's
Mhm.
like, yeah, let's go see it. Jade didn't even want to see it. She sat in the coffee shop at the Galleria.
What the hell?
Like, she's like, nah, I don't want to see it. She sat in the coffee shop while Ryan and I saw it. And I came out of the theater and I was like, that was actually really good. Like, I was like, that was pretty good. I told Jade she missed out. Like, that was a really, really good movie. Um, and then the fact that they had Robert Redford. That was one of the most. That was the first sign I was like, even after Avengers, I was like, wait, this is actually. Like, that's a legit actor. You're pulling legit Hollywood people into this.
Yeah.
Not just like people who are out of their prime, like Robert Downey Jr. He caught a break or whatever, but you got Robert Redford. He doesn't have to do anything he doesn't want to do. Um, and so, what do you guys think of him in this movie? I thought he looked like he was having fun.
I liked him. Yeah, he seemed into it.
Yeah, I think so too. Um, they had a PTSD lecture in this film. I'm glad that
Hmm.
they didn't try to make you feel too bad for the people, because that's another one that's just been done a million times.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like I'm like that was one instance where with the Alzheimer's they went too far. In this case, they didn't, so that was cool. Um, Nick Fury's car chase.
That was really cool. I love because it shows that he's smart. It shows Shield's tech, and it was just a badass
Yeah,
like sequence.
but you know what I liked the most about it was the lack of CGI.
Yes.
Because even nowadays, people do car chases with CGI, like CGI cars for basically anything that's not just driving down the street. Um, and it just like I was really, really, really invested in the action. Every time I watch it, I'm always like into that scene. And I really feel like it's because I know that it's real. I can see it. At one point, he's being sandwiched by two cars, like while he's driving, and I'm just like, it's real, you know?
Yeah.
Even if it's fake, even if there's like a remote control driver or something like that, but it's still like I'm looking at real things. It's so important. Um, and then we get introduced to the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about his entrance into the film?
I
I
like it.
loved it.
The only thing about I do love it too. The only thing about it is when Fury cuts through the floor, like couldn't Winter Soldier just throw a grenade in there? Like how far could he have gone?
I mean, they kind of explain how that thing works in in Agents of Shield because around when this
Yeah.
movie came out is like when they did the switch to Hydra in the show as well, and they kind of explained what that was. This thing's called a foxhole. It drills into the earth like as fast as you can walk.
Yeah. So like how far could he have gone?
I'm surprised he didn't just follow him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That okay. So we're gonna give that one a pass, but I think that like that's a plot. Like I'm pretty sure Nick Fury's dead in that scene in reality. Um, I really like the scene where they talk in Roger's apartment, like everything about it, the quietness, the code names, the signaling, and then Fury gets shot. Now, is it me or did he fucking get killed? Like,
Oh
come
yeah.
on.
The size of the bullet.
Yeah, the caliber was
Yeah.
insanely large,
And to punch through a wall and then him is like total death.
and it was 3 times. Like, come on. I know he has good doctors, but
Maybe he is a
Jesus.
Kree or a Skrull or whatever. A Skrull.
That could explain it, because that's one part of this movie where I'm just like, how? Um, and I like the chase scene between Steve Rogers and Winter Soldier, but especially at the end because you really can't tell who he is with the eye makeup and the mask
Yeah.
and the hair. Like you don't really recognize him in that moment. So I feel like all of that works. And then Fury's death, like I rewatched the scene several times. You don't hear his pulse go out, but I just think it's so elaborate, like to fake your death like that. To
But
what
that's
did he?
spy stuff. That's Fury
He
101.
stopped his heart. Is that what he did?
Yeah,
They
with the
used a
neurotoxin.
chemical to slow the heart rate that Banner created.
So all the doctors were in on it.
No, they don't have to be. Only he just has to be poisoned and then he's down. They assume he's dead.
But who poisoned him?
I assumed Carter. Not Carter. What's her name?
Yeah, no, it's Carter. It's
Okay.
Sharon Carter.
Sharon Carter.
What's the other one's name? The
Which one?
aunt, the grandma, wherever she was.
Peggy Carter?
Oh, Peggy. Okay, yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. Fury's death that's a little shaky for me. Um, okay. Now the elevator fight. What do you guys think?
I love it because I remember when I first watched that scene, I had no. I truly believed that S.H.I.E.L.D. was good and they thought he may be evil. And so at first I was just like, okay, and then more people get in the elevator, and one's sweating, one's touching his weapon, and I was like, wait, are they gonna fight? And then it happens.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even up to this point, everything in the movie, the fighting, the story, like with the stuff I complain about, they're nitpicks. Um, this movie has been solid like all the way up to this point, and then this fight scene. Aside from the fact, which Emerson, you know this, if they really wanted to take him down, they could have just grabbed his legs. Like two guys grab his legs, it's over. Like that's how you do it. Um, if he can't move, that's it. You know, just two guys grab his arms, but you grab his legs, that's it. So they didn't do that. Shame on them. But aside from that, because the way you can rationalize it in your head is they had weapons they were going to use on him, and so they were focused on using those instead of just wrestling him. So, okay, whatever. So the weapons didn't work, but I like the metal thing, the metal
Yeah, the
handcuff,
magnets.
um, and the shock, whatever, uh, like taser stick.
Tasers, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the timing, the sound, the music. Um, I like how they cut away to Agent Sitwell in the control room. Um, I liked when he throws the guy up into the ceiling. Like, it's all good. Now, one thing about this though is, do you guys like Frank Grillo as Crossbones? He doesn't really like he doesn't look like the Crossbones from Civil War.
Well, yeah,
Like
'cause his face
personality
is burned
wise.
off.
Well, I mean the personality. Like it's not the same guy. This is a hardened Shield agent, and the Crossbones guy is like a mustache twirling villain.
I mean, he could become that. At this point, he believes in his cause. He thinks he's right. He thinks he's
I
gonna
I
win.
guess I guess. Um, what about this helicopter takedown? The Quinjet takedown.
When he
Oh, I
throws the
love it.
shield.
I love the ending where he lands with the shield.
Well, I mean, the way he threw the shield shouldn't work.
Yeah,
Um,
but okay, even if you give him that, the way he's like doing flips around the Quinjet, like I don't know. I feel like he could have done it a different way. Maybe a little more faster. Maybe he could have just like somehow taken out one of the engines and then jumped off as it crashed. Um, he was a little too dominant. Like you can't maneuver around a plane like that.
yeah.
He like at one point flips himself upwards from whatever. Not a fan. Um, Black Widow's personality here is like completely different to anything she was before.
Hmm.
Like she's way darker. She's um, way more like sexual.
Oh yeah.
Even though it's not like overt, but it's there. Like
Yeah.
you have the vibe, which is what they were
Which
going.
just makes me think Chris Evans is gay, more and more.
Is that a
I
thing?
mean not Chris Evans. You mean Steve Rogers?
No, I mean Chris Evans.
Why?
I don't know. I just get the vague, like something about him, right? He seems like he's gay.
I mean, have you ever seen interviews with him? He's like almost a completely different person.
I don't think he's gay. I know what you mean. There is some sort of like dandiness about him.
Yeah.
But I think that's also just how he plays Captain America.
Okay.
I mean, Black Widow brings it up. She's like, "Was that your first kiss since 1940?" And like, for all we know, he's only kissed Peggy, right?
Yeah.
Well, he had kisses with like all the fangirls, but okay, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that was a funny moment as well. Like the line right before that, where she's like, "Where did Captain America learn how to steal a car?" That's
Yeah,
a sneaky reference to the first Captain America movie, where he steals two cars in like
he
the
does.
stupidest way possible.
He steals two cars. Oh yeah. I remember. Yeah.
And it's so stupid. He's like, "I think I'm gonna be sick." He gets out of the car. He walks 30 feet behind, and the driver follows him, and then he just runs back to the car and steals it.
But I also I liked the line after that where she goes, "I have a question to ask, but if you don't answer it, it's kind of like you are answering." Because she's right. If he doesn't
Yeah.
answer if that was the kiss, then yeah, it was. Yeah. Um, what'd you guys think of Arnim Zola?
Oh, I
He
like
was a
him.
nice
He's one of my favorite
throwback.
MCU characters.
I'm glad he wasn't there for longer.
Yeah, he was he was there the right amount. That's exactly what I was thinking. The right amount, and then never again.
Yeah.
Um, okay, it's quite clear that Winter Soldier killed Howard Stark in this film, right?
Yeah. Very
Extremely
much.
clear.
Yeah.
When that became the big twist in Civil War, I was like, don't I know this already? Don't we
Yeah.
all know this? Like, you think Steve would have been like, well, I guess he didn't get a chance to tell Tony between him learning that and fighting Winter Soldier again, but um, I don't know. Like, I feel like that's just. I mean, Black Widow knew, so
I mean, it kind of makes sense that like think about how much time passes between now and Civil War, and he would have had plenty of times to at least mention it, right?
well, I get that he didn't want to mention it once he realized the Winter Soldier was Bucky, but to say like, "Hey, Hydra killed your parents," like you don't have to say it's Bucky, but I feel like he would have told him that Hydra killed his parents at least,
Yeah.
but or at least Black Widow might have. She was there too. But whatever. The point is like I guess they needed that twist for Civil War, but this is also their movie. So like they set the groundwork by revealing it here and then kind of I don't know, played dumb a little bit. So they mentioned Stephen Strange. Agent Sitwell mentioned Stephen Strange.
Yes.
This is
That's
before he becomes Doctor Strange, though.
yeah, so they're worried about a doctor?
Well, he's an
Well,
independent free thinker.
and
He
he's one of the best neurosurgeons on the planet.
he's the type of guy who wouldn't. He seems almost like kind of like the rich activist. He would probably stand against um, a fascist takeover.
And they said Zola's algorithm predicts people's futures based on their current, like, skill and, all that stuff. You'd
Yeah,
think
I don't
that
know.
someone with as much skill as Doctor Strange, before he even learns how to use magic, that potential could be used for other things, if it were against Hydra.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think they realized he was gonna turn into a magician.
Magician. He is a
What?
magician. It's so
Yeah,
funny.
I'm right.
Um, okay, the causeway scene. Is this one of the best action scenes in the MCU overall? Like
Yeah.
if I rank it, it has to be this one, the Lumerian Star. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. This one, the
It's
Lumerian
this.
Star, or the finale of Civil War.
I love everything about it.
And all three of those were made by the Russo brothers.
Hmm.
Is there any other action sequence that really holds up?
No,
The South Korea scene in Black Panther is close.
I wouldn't say so. For how
I mean,
down
it's
to earth this is, and like just everything about it.
I'm looking. What other action scene? I mean, maybe Punisher's like finale. Other than that, yeah, I don't know about anything else honestly. But this one, like, I'm a snob about fighting in movies, but when I get excited about good fighting, that means the fighting is legit. In this
Mhm.
case, the fighting is like beyond my expectations. Um, the pacing of the fight is great. All the moving parts are great. The part that really gets me is when Steve rushes Bucky, right? And
Yeah.
he rushes him, and he like gets knocked away, and then he has to crouch behind the shield, and he like Winter Soldier's just pulling out weapon after weapon, and Steve is getting closer and closer, fighting through the weaponry and disarming him. Um, and then you get to the part where he brings out the knife. And I don't know if these were the stunt actors, but do you ever notice the way that Winter Soldier throws the knife in the air and catches it again?
Mhm.
It's like super,
Just
like
yeah, It's so well
tactical
done.
and smooth.
Yeah, so well done. And it looks like it is Sebastian Stan, although you can't really tell because he has the mask, but it looks like Chris Evans is in that scene.
Yeah.
Um, it just looks so damn good. Um, Everything about that is great until the end, where he throws him by his face.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the bad part. He does a
That wouldn't
suplex before that, give him credit for some wrestling. Um, but yeah, him throwing, he grabs him by the face from behind and throws his whole body like a paper bag, like a little kid's lunch bag, and just throws it in the air like it's nothing. And then his mask falls off. And then Sebastian Stan, who I'm not saying is an ugly guy, but I've said this before, that long hair really doesn't work on him.
Yeah.
And when you see him unmasked for the first time, it looks weird.
Yeah. Looks really strange. It's a
Yeah.
cool scene though, especially I remember when I first saw it.
Did you know when you first saw it who Bucky was?
No. I completely forgot about it. I was like, oh no, I knew who Bucky was, but I didn't put the connection that Bucky is the Winter Soldier. I thought he was just like a side plot, and then because the movie reminds you of who Bucky is.
Yeah. But even when I was watching it, I barely remember that Bucky existed. That first movie really didn't do a good job of making you feel for Bucky's death.
Especially
they-
considering he's like the center point of everything now.
Yeah. Like they tried, but isn't it interesting how important he's become?
Yeah.
Like he's a side character at best. Um but even now it's like as soon as Infinity War shit starts going down, like you have that scene of Bucky running in slow motion. He's running cuz either Cap's already dead or he's running to try to save him or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that first movie just like I didn't remember Bucky at all. And then I'm watching Winter Soldier and I'm thinking, don't make this guy come back to life because this is so stupid. At that point I was so jaded of like nothing bad ever happening to these characters, how they all just keep coming out on top except for Captain America. I was like, as soon as I thought that they were going to bring him back, I sort of checked out. And then when it turned out to be Bucky, I have to say I was a little disappointed that they went the route of like, remember who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's been done. Funny thing, since this movie came out, it's actually been done again, and even worse, by way of Daredevil and Elektra.
Oh, yep.
Like that whole we're gonna fight and then we're gonna take breaks and I'm gonna try to talk to you and say something and it's not gonna work and at some point I'm gonna say, you know me, and they're gonna say, no I don't. And then you fight some more and then the building collapses around you. It's the same fucking thing. It's the same scene. It's just like Matt and his girlfriend, and now it's Cap and his girlfriend. I know a lot of like, you know how some fans like to just put people in gay couples,
Yep.
like the characters
Yeah.
in gay couples.
Or like shipping.
This
Yeah.
one works.
Okay. Yeah.
We've had this conversation before. You agree? There's something gay about this.
There's a bromance. There's a
He
bromance.
cares too much. In like a weird way.
It's just like, imagine if you went whatever 60 years in the future and then you found out your best friend was there too. You would probably like be in love with your friend. but whatever. It's not just that, it's that he also seems genuinely disinterested in Sharon Carter. Like he's just like, yeah, she's cute. I don't know.
Where's
And then
Bucky at?
he doesn't try to hit on Black Widow. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not gonna go so far to say that he's gay, but I hope this doesn't turn into like a Fantastic Beast situation with Dumbledore.
Oh my god.
where they make more references like Cap saying "Hey Buck" and running his hands through his hair or some shit like that. So one of the Russo brothers, I don't know which one is which, but makes an appearance as the doctor that's helping Nick Fury once it's revealed he's alive.
I noticed that.
Yeah. He also makes a cameo in Civil War. He's the doctor or the interrogator that Zemo kills in the hotel.
Oh, cool.
So I
didn't notice that.
assume he will show up in Infinity War as well.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Okay, and we already talked about how Fury saved himself with some Banner concoction. What do you guys think of Falcon?
He was
Eh,
okay.
I
Yeah,
realized I don't like Anthony Mackie that much. Like, I'm not a big fan of his shtick. And even when you see him in interviews, he's like this guy that's always like, hey, 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 like, really loud
Yeah.
and, like, overly manly, like, compensating. I feel like he's got somewhat of an ego. And then he tries to play Falcon like a nicer guy. But some of the arrogance still bleeds through for me. What about you
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah, I
he's
can kind of
he's
see
not
that.
powerful enough to have that arrogance. It's like, dude, anyone could kind of do this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess. Um, I like his wingsuit, but I don't know. I just don't like him. And then in Civil War, I didn't really like him either. Even though they did go to lengths to make him more powerful.
Well,
But
who
I-
would you have preferred if not Anthony Mackie?
I don't know. I don't have a short list of black actors, but I'm sure they could have found someone.
They hired back Terrence Howard as Falcon.
Have you seen The Hurt Locker?
I have.
Anthony Mackie's great in that one, but like I think he's more suited for that. Are you're telling me I don't see them making Bucky Captain America.
No.
I see them potentially making Anthony Mackie Captain America, but
I think I'd like Bucky more, even though I don't see it though.
Well,
yeah,
he
I don't.
becomes the next
I don't want to
Captain
watch
America.
Anthony Mackie really anymore. Like, I'd be okay if he died.
I feel like because the Winter Soldier is already supposed to be like the Russian version of Captain America anyway.
Hmm.
I feel like Anthony Mackie's not strong enough to be Captain America.
No, he's not. Yeah, and he can't even carry a movie either. So,
Yeah.
all right, Falcon. At the end, Black Widow says Sharon is nice. Did Black Widow know Sharon was Peggy's niece or whatever the fuck?
No.
I guess not, considering she says in Civil War that she never told anyone she was related to her.
Yeah, but her name's Sharon Carter. She works for S.H.I.E.L.D. Black Widow released all the files. I don't know. Whatever. Those are all the notes I had. I mean, this is a great film. Like,
It is.
Yeah.
through and through. If you had to rank your top three, does this one make it?
Oh yes. It's between this or Civil War for number one.
Yeah, this is definitely my number 2.
For me, it's Civil War, Winter Soldier, and then Avengers.
I might put Iron Man 1 up there, but
I think Iron Man 1 is next, and then Black Panther. Like, that's my top 5.
I'm definitely saving a spot, hoping Infinity War is going to be great.
I have a feeling it will be great, but it won't be more better than Civil War for me.
I mean it'd be
I
hard
mean,
to
we'll
top
see.
that.
You know what? It's going to come down to who dies and how well do they do it.
I don't even want to think about this because there's so much time left before Infinity War. But Kia, you said you went to a play.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, so Jade said she wanted to go on a date with me because we got the puppy, and like puppies are basically like babies, so we've been super busy, right?
Yeah.
So she wanted to go on like a date, leave the puppy at home, whatever. And I've been really good with like my diet. Like it's making a big difference, and I'm eating less and whatever. So she tells me one day at 5 o'clock, but I'm doing intermittent fasting. So
Okay.
that means if I eat at 8 a.m., then I stop eating at 6 p.m. Like not one more thing. I can still drink water, but I don't eat anymore. And with the keto diet, I don't really stay hungry. Like it's actually working out, Because
Nice. Yeah.
I had gotten up to 190. You know
Ooh,
when you
Jesus.
gain muscle, you also gain fat.
Yeah.
I wasn't fat, but I had put on
You were
more
heavier.
muscle. Yeah, I was just bigger, and I kept eating because of that. So I was like, I really just gotta stop. Like I even stopped lifting as heavy. Um, so I've been slimming down anyway. So she wants me to take her out to dinner, and it was 5 o'clock, and I had already eaten. Like I was already done basically. I'm like, we were getting dressed, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna order. And she's like, well, I don't want to go sit there if you're not gonna order, blah blah blah. And I was like, let's just do it another time. Like I'm not eating another dinner. Um, so she's like, fine. So then she gets some idea that now she wants to go to dinner and a show. Like, so I'm kicking myself. I'm like, I should have just had the second dinner. Now I have to go sit at a fucking play. So basically, a guy, like a long term sub at her school, is trying to make it in Hollywood, and he had tickets for a play that he had been working on, and he sold 2 tickets to Jade. So now we're going to see a play this past Saturday night, and I missed the UFC fights and whatever, whatever. But so this play is called Key Change, and it's about 4 women and their experience in prison, and it was really well done, and it had a lot of like Hollywood level people in it. Like a lot of the people in it had a lot of experience on TV shows and whatever. Um, so it's kind of like Orange is the New Black, and by kinda I mean that it's almost exactly like Orange is the New Black. There's 4 women, so it's not a TV show. It was an hour long play. Basically, it's about what it's like for them in the prison and how they each individually like came to prison and what they left behind and their mental states and whatever. It was really really well done. It was a small theater in North Hollywood. I'm talking like 30 seats, right? We walk
Okay.
in and like there's 4 rows of seats and then the stage. And there's not even a stage. It's just like a floor with lights above it.
Damn.
So so they come in and like the lights are out and the women come in and um they like start putting tape on the floor and they start yelling at us. They're like these are the cells. Like it was actually kind of clever the way that they tell you, they like paint the picture of the jail with just
Mhm.
tape on the ground. And so I was like really into it. And then so they go into this thing where the women actually play different roles. So instead of being the prisoners, they're also like the CO officer. So one of them will be the CO, and the woman will, like she'll yell like, "Everyone in line," and one of them will be like, "That's the CO," and that's how you know who it is. So it starts with the scene where they're gonna talk on the phone, like they're trying to make phone calls home, right?
Mhm.
And they're fighting over the phone because there's only one phone or whatever. And then it suddenly turns into a slow motion fight scene that I never fucking saw coming. There was 5 minutes, um, 5 minutes in the show, and I was just like, the drums start like they were getting aggressive, and I'm just like, okay, like it's drama, and then suddenly the drums go on, and it's like, doo 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 doo, and the women turn into this slow motion like, dude, I can't even explain it. Like one of them was like gesturing to the audience in slow motion, like she was, because she was so crazy that she was actually laughing as they fought. Um, and then the girl being beaten up was like trying to defend herself by doing blocks, and like you could tell they had really worked on it. But it's just like it was so cringy that I was trying not to laugh, like I was holding it in. And like and the other problem is it went on for like a minute and a half of just like four women who have never been in a fight in their lives doing a choreographed fight in slow motion while playing characters.
Right.
And so it ends, and then it like goes to a flashback and whatever. Then you learn about each individual women, blah blah blah. So I'm sitting there like, giving the play a chance. It's really well done, and it gets to the part where like this one woman is talking about how she just wanted her boyfriend to love her, and like they got pregnant and they had kids, and like at this point she had like two or three kids with him, and the guy was just like constantly leaving her and probably having affairs, and she threatens to take the kids away, and he smacks her around and she falls on the floor, and the narrator's like, and that wasn't all, and then she pissed her pants. And I'm like, okay. And then in the corner of the room, you know how I said that like the women play other characters?
Yeah.
Okay, without any introduction into the scene at all, suddenly one of the women plays one of the children, and she goes, "Mommy, do you want some ice cream?" As the mom is like on the floor in fetal position. And when she said that, I like choked. I was like, "Oh." Because I was so caught off guard about how like I just like I mean there was no one, they never said the kids were watching or some shit, and this one woman, one of the four women, for some reason had sat in the corner for most of the play, like she wasn't even in most of it, and then just out of nowhere she just like says it in a baby voice, and like there was no precedent for eating ice cream, like none of that. It's just like the kid was trying to comfort the mom by
Yeah.
saying, "Do you want I like?" But I choked, and everyone around me like heard it, because
Oh
it's a
god.
tiny, and I was trying so fucking hard not to laugh. And Jade like couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. She's like wondering to herself, am I like if I was laughing? And she keeps staring at me. Like I'm trying so hard. My eyes are wide open. My teeth are fully visible, and they're jammed into my lip as hard as I possibly can. I am like clenching, and Jade won't stop staring at me. And it's such a small theater. The director was sitting right fucking behind us. I was ready to smack Jade because I'm like, don't look at me. I can't do this. I don't know how I held it in. I don't know how I did it, but it wasn't quiet either. Like after the choke, I was like I was trying not to do it, and eventually it passed, and I was like, don't think about it, don't think about it, don't think about it. Think about dead kids or like dead people, like people getting shot. Like just think about anything but that, because anytime I thought about the voice, I was just like, oh no. And there's no escape in a room that small, and I was cramped in like this. The aisles were really small. There was no way I could even excuse myself. The lady before had specifically asked, like, please don't get up and use the bathroom. There's no intermission. It's only an hour. Like, try to stay in your seat. Like, there was no way out of there. So then it passed, and the play kept going. And at that point, like, I was completely lost. They had pretty much lost me at the slow motion fight scene, but I was pretty lost, And then I started thinking, oh God, what if they do another scene with the kids? I won't make it. Like I'm not gonna make it. And so they get to this scene where the kids come to visit
Oh
the
no.
the woman in jail, and now they're like older now. So there's two of them, and they're played by like the other women, and I'm just staring at the floor, and she's like, "Oh, sweetie, you got so big," to like an adult woman, and I'm like, as long as they don't talk, it's all good. And surprisingly, the kids only said like one thing. They like gave one word answers to her questions. There wasn't anything like, "Mommy, when you coming home?" Like none of that shit. So like I got through that one, and then I guess at some point the story loops around back to the beginning where like it's the day they get into a fight, And as soon as I realized what was about to happen, I was like, oh, Jesus, no. And so I stared at the ground the entire time. And again, dude, it went a minute and a half is a long time for something like that. And it was the exact, like, clearly the exact same thing, beat for beat. And I was just staring at the floor. I'm like, don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look. And then I just felt like such an asshole because everyone knew that I almost laughed. And, like, I'm not kidding, the director was right behind me.
Oh,
I didn't
Jesus.
know that she was right behind me, but afterwards she came and, like, took applause, and she, like, got up from right behind me, and I was like, I could not get out of there fast enough. Um, I'm not saying don't go see it. I'm just saying, um, it's, I don't normally do things like that, so it was an experience.
Nice.
But yeah, it was fun. So anyway, for next week, I think we'll do Infinity War. What do you guys think?
I
Yeah,
guess we
sounds
can
good.
do that. There's
Yeah.
not much else.
We will have 2 special guests.
And who will they be?
I will not announce them until the time comes.
Okay.
But yeah, it should be fun. It's going to be a packed house. So
Nice.
that we're recording that Sunday afternoon.
Mhm.
So you guys, people who are listening, go see Infinity War that weekend and Sunday afternoon. We will record it. It should be up by Sunday night or Monday morning.
Awesome.
All right. You guys good?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. How do I end this again? All right. I think. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Goodbye.